And we have Mr. I Stay Woke. And Mr. I Stay Woke. And we woke and we back just on the attack. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? This is the student master teacher, Mr. I Stay Woke, Chris Monroe, and I'm right back at you with another real estate video. Today we got a good stream for you. We got Sunni Minx coming on in a moment. Gonna talk about her first virtual wholesale deal, how she made $15K. Nice payday, just like that. So if you find out anything in this video helps you out in any type of a way, give it a thumbs up. Go ahead and subscribe to this YouTube channel. And if you're watching on the Facebook group called Woke Real Estate Investors Group, you have to hit that little link in the description so your name will show up if you want your comment to show up well. Other than that, we're about to get it started here and get it popping and get it going. Let's see if we got this fixed up now. All right. Sunni Minx. There she is. Hello there.
Hi, everybody. What's up, Chris?
There we go. There we go. Hey. You got the long braids, nice hair, looking good. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Pretty good. Pretty good. So I just wanted to bring you on today so you can share your experience with your first, or I guess a couple of first wholesale deals. So the people that are, stepping into the game, trying to figure out, how do I do this? How do I lock somebody up under a piece of paper, find an end buyer, and get a check for some reason on a piece of property I never owned? I mean, it still blows me away.
Yeah.
So if you could just give a little bit of background, what were you doing before you found out about real estate? How did you find out about wholesaling? Tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I knew that I always wanted to do real estate, be in real estate for many, many years. But for me, at first, it just sounded cool because I knew it was a way to make a lot of money, but I had no clue about anything pertaining to real estate other than, becoming a real estate agent. That was like the way that I thought I had to go. And I really became a student of real estate about 2 years ago when I said, you know what, I really want to start making that move and getting into it. But I didn't want to jump out there blind or without any kind of information. So what I started to do was just do my own research. So I was a student for about just a year solid. I was going to all of the conferences and all the meetups and just really trying to learn as much as I could. I was like a sponge. After going to so many of those things, it all started to sound redundant, started sounding the same. I said, well, you know what? Do I know anybody in this game that I can link up with and learn? Because I know I've been to school, I have degrees. It's one thing to learn things on paper, but it's another to learn it out in the field. So my whole goal after being a student for about a year, just self-teaching myself, I wanted to link up with people who were actually doing it and see what I could learn from them. So I got a couple mentors, and my mentors started to show me different perspectives. At that time, they were just typical investors buying and selling, buying and holding. But they would tell me all the nightmare stories about being a landlord. And I was like, I don't want to be chasing folks down for money every month. And so I knew that wasn't necessarily just the only way that I wanted to get involved with real estate. And then I think at one of the conferences, I actually heard one of the speakers mention wholesaling and other ways to make money without small investments. Because at the time I was like, I don't really want to dump a lot of money and just sit on my money and then hoping that I can sell, trying to fix and flip. That can get really costly. And if you have no experience in that, you can make some really, really bad mistakes. And it's why it's important. I tell anybody that wants to get in this game, find a mentor. Find somebody who's actually been doing this thing and knows the good and the bad. Because all investments are not good investments, people. You can make some really, really costly mistakes in this game if you lack the knowledge. So
That's right. That's right. I would agree. Find somebody who know what's going on because it's a learning curve. Like I said, it's three ways to get into real estate. You got to have some cash, that big cash buyer, a good credit with the credit score of 700, and whatever else they want you to get up to, or you got to get that knowledge, which I think is the most important because you can lose your cash and your credit if you don't have the knowledge. So definitely connect with some people on that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And with wholesaling, knowledge is key. You have to know how to lock people up. You gotta have the right contracts. Okay, you gotta speak the right jargon with people. You have to know what you're doing. And I don't think you can get all that info just watching videos. Because a lot of people will sit and watch YouTube videos and think they got it, and then boom, now they can go and do it and teach it and everything. You have to really get in this field because, like with my deal, the one that we're talking about with this particular deal, it was something like original. It was something that most people wasn't even familiar with. Even when I talked to my mentors, they was like, "What? You don't do this?" Every deal is really unique, and so I mean, you want it to go smooth and go like this last deal or like that deal, but dealing with the seller, it's like buying a car. You don't really know what you're getting. You don't know the miles. You don't know who owned it. So everything is unique once you get to your deal. But you really have to have some solid, have a solid resource of information. Not just don't put all your money on the book, but get with some people who have that knowledge and aren't afraid to share that knowledge with you on how to move. Because you can find yourself locked up in a deal that you can't get out of.
Now that would be no good. Wouldn't want to do that. So I know you
Yeah.
mentioned a little bit ago about paperwork. Where would someone get these contracts they may need?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things floating out on the internet, but again, you have to make sure that the information on those contracts are that protect you. You can also, if you don't have a mentor, I know Chris has paperwork you guys can buy. If you don't have a mentor, you can always get with a real estate lawyer
Right.
who would know you do have to pay your way in this industry. So you can get with a real estate lawyer who will help you get your contracts together
Wait,
because it's all about paperwork, people. And when
wait a
you
minute,
said
Sonny. I heard you say something kind of powerful there. You said so you got to pay your way in this game. Is that what you said?
oh yeah, oh yeah, you have to pay your way in this game. And even though wholesaling is not as big as a risk as buying and flipping or buying and holding, there's still some costs. I mean, you have to pay for marketing, you have to pay. Sometimes you have to pay closing. Sometimes you have to pay your lawyer. There's different fees involved. You know, don't think it's just, oh, I'm coming in with $0 and I'm about to make all this money. It's
Mm-hmm.
sacrifices that have to be made. Like with this particular deal, I had to put down $1,000 of my own money to lock this contract up. A lot of people's like, "Ooh, no, don't do it. That's risky." Like my friends, people around me was telling me, "Don't do it." But I had faith in myself and my ability to get this property sold, and I had faith in God that He would not allow me to set myself up for failure. And I just knew that I could sell it because to me it was just a good deal, and I knew that it was a deal that I could get sold. So I took the risk. But again, on the flip side, if I wouldn't have sold that property, I would have been $1,000 in the hole. And so,
So you literally put some skin in the game because everybody say lock it up for $1, lock it up for $10,
oh man,
$100, none of that mess.
man, that stuff don't really like. You might find some people out here that let you lock a contract up for no money, but in most scenarios, like you're gonna have to put some skin in the game, and you have to have the money to do that, and not be afraid to do it. And if you lose that thousand or whatever, it's not the end of the world. You got to feel like that. So, and I had this was my second deal, so I'd already just closed the deal before that and made 10K. So I had a little money to play with, that I had just got from a deal that was really easy. And I was thinking this deal was gonna be easy, but this deal was really complicated. It was not easy. I'll tell people, and I just really had to stick it out. I had to stay persistent. I even called Chris. Chris knows, like I was on the phone with the seller. I'm on the phone with the buyer. I'm on the phone with both of their lawyers. I had so many people in my deal, even though it was just between me and the seller. I had so many people I had to deal with on my deal to get this deal closed. But I was not gonna let them mess the deal up for me, you know.
I know that's right. So how did you come across this deal? How did you find this deal? Were you marketing or networking? How did this deal fall into your world?
Actually, it was just kind of word of mouth. I did it pretty much fell in my lap. A friend of mine told me, I was actually telling a friend of mine that, hey, if you know anybody that's selling any property, let me know. And it's like, oh, by the way, yeah, I know somebody selling some property. And I was like, really? They started telling me a little bit of the information. You know, I actually sold 10 doors, which was 5 duplexes. And I was like, I know a lot of people are looking to get in multifamily. So what I did to know if I had a deal or not, because sometimes you think there's a deal, but it's not really the best deal. So everything is not a good deal. So what I did to see if I really had a deal was I started to kind of market a little early. I made some mistakes and I want to let you all know so you don't make the same. I started marketing this deal before I really had it in the contract, just to see like how many
Ooh.
people would be interested, like if it was a good deal, because people let you know, because they'll start blowing up your line if it's a good deal, because they're gonna want it. And once I put it out there just a tad bit, I saw the reaction and I knew, okay, this can be sold because people are going crazy. But then I'll tell you what happened. I had some people backdoor me. They saw me marketing the deal. They wanted that deal and they went right behind me because I hadn't had it locked up yet. They went right behind me and tried to get the deal. And and I was like, well, man, I'm like, dang, I messed up. They just got this deal because they wanted it. But by the grace of God, things worked out where they weren't able to close on the deal, and it still fell right back into my lap because I had, previously talked to the seller and had somewhat of a rapport from the seller through the referral, and immediately I locked it up on contract, and I had the contract for 45 days. We sold it by 30 days.
All right. So how did you know how long to put it out for? Was he just open to say, yeah, 45 days is good? Or did you ask it in a certain way or something? How did you come up with 45 days?
Well, I came up with 45 days because I wanted to give myself time because time goes by so quickly. And I know some people like, well, I can close in 14 days and I can close in. I'm not trying to do all that. I needed to
Mhm.
find I had a solid buyer and I wanted time to do that. I wanted time to make sure that I found the right buyer and didn't have to feel that pressure of putting a 14-day or even a 30-day deadline. I wanted to give myself as much time as possible. If he would have agreed to 60 days, I would have tried to do lock it up for 60 days. But the sellers, some people are they're not gonna go for that. And I suggested 45 and he went for it. So bam,
Right, right.
had that 45-day contract.
I know that's right. So that's a good thing. And so also just to go back just a little bit, you say you got the deal from basically networking. People don't even think that's a way to get deals. They just ask some questions. Do you know anybody looking to sell a house?
Networking. Actually, the first 2 deals that I closed basically was just networking. I didn't do any marketing at all. But to keep the deals coming in consistently, you definitely have to market because, um, you know, networking and just word of mouth can only go so far. You'll get some deals, you'll get some people, but you really gotta if you want to work this thing and make it like a full-time thing, you have to invest in marketing. It's key.
Yeah, you got to keep that pipeline full. Most definitely keep some deals coming in because you don't know what's going to be and what won't be. So I understand with that. That makes total sense. And also, the people in the chat room, if y'all have any questions about any of this, make sure you put it in, and we'll try to get to a Q&A before we get out of here. And so, Sunny, on this deal, so you knew it was a deal. How did you just know it was a deal? It was just so cheap, or what?
Well, first of all, I mean, I just look at the numbers because numbers don't lie. I was selling 10 doors, people, 10 units for a small price of $135,000. Like, what investor wouldn't want a deal like that? When I see people buying homes for $135,000, just a single door, and you can be in the game with 10. And then I thought about it already had tenants. So it was
Mhm.
like a win. You're coming in already making 4 to 5,000. I mean, sorry, Yeah, about $5,000 a month already back on your return. So for a real true investor, that was like a no brainer.
Yeah,
That
that
was a
do
no
seem
brainer.
cheap.
That was a no brainer for me. I just wish I had the 135 at the time. I would have bought the deal. It wouldn't have been a wholesale. But at the time, I was still pretty new in the game, learning the game. So I just want to get my weight up as much as I can with doing wholesale.
Yeah, I definitely understand that. I mean, you look at like 5 houses or 5 duplexes rented out for 135,000. I need that for me, and that's the thing you're gonna run
Exactly.
into. I mean, I understand because I come across deals. I'm like, I want to keep it. I don't want to give that away to somebody else because that's what we're doing with wholesaling, giving away money. So
You just
it's
give it
like,
away. And I
yeah,
know like wholesaling is a good way to start off, to kind of learn some things. But ultimately, my goal is to hold and be more of an investor and just not really. I know eventually I'll step out of wholesaling. That's not my end all. I don't want to get stuck with just being happy making 15, 20,000. That's great money, but I'm looking for like longevity money and looking to stay in the deal as long as possible. So 5 years from now, I'm still making money off that deal. Because that
right.
20 or that 30 that you make, that stuff will go quick. You can go buy a car, you can go on a nice vacation, you can go buy your mom some stuff, and then that money's gone if you don't reinvest it. So
Mhm.
it's a good way to start out for people who may not have the capital to become an investor or to buy and hold right off the bat. It's a good way to start out for sure.
Definitely no cash needed, no credit needed, and good specialized knowledge. That's usually what the cost of
And,
entry. So
and it's,
when
it's
you,
amazing how many people don't even know what it is. Like the people that I was selling to, oh no, not the person, not my buyer, but my seller wasn't even familiar with what I
mm,
was doing. They all thought it was something crooked or this ain't right. You can't do. You need a license. Like the lawyer that he was dealing with, sorry, at the time, his lawyer didn't even know what I was doing. Oh, they was like, because most people be like, they never heard of it, so they think automatically it's something shady. You're doing something shady. You're doing something illegal. It's not my fault. You're uneducated. You know what I mean? Like,
mm,
because they're like, don't you need a license to sell? Ma'am, I'm not selling anything. I'm assigning you a contract. So no,
exactly,
I don't need a license. Know your paper is as long as we do something in a mutual contract, you can get away with it.
that's
So
right.
you go.
So you find yourself educating everyone around you. So when it came to
Period.
talking with the seller, how did that go as far as determining pricing and things like that? Did he give you pushback? Were they receptive to what you were trying to do? Did they know you were wholesaling it? Did they think you were buying it? How did that go?
Well, I ain't gonna say they knew immediately that I was wholesaling because if you don't ask, don't if they don't ask, don't tell until
Mm,
it's necessary. Um, he wanted 150,000. I knew that was way too much. I did my research on the property. I knew the value of each of those properties were not valued at that. And usually most sellers are going to want top dollar because they think that their property is just like some golden egg, and it's not. It's dude, we got to repair this property. You know, so I talked them down. I was able to negotiate because one thing about me, I'm kind of like a hustler. I've been in many different industries, so I know how to talk a person down. Like, dude, that's too high. You'll take 30. And so once I got him down to, I actually got him down from 50 to 20,000.
mm,
Yeah, because I started doing my research and like pointing out certain things that I knew was wrong with the property. And then once he realized, oh, she knows that I'm asking too much. Yes, sir. I need you to take the 20 and be happy. And we're
mm.
talking about cash deal. So we weren't dealing with any lenders. This man was going to walk away with cash, a check on closing. It wasn't
Yeah.
no delay or anything. So it was a cash deal. He knew that he was going to get what he was going to get, but he ended up not even getting anywhere near 120,000.
Mm. So he wanted
Yeah.
he wanted like so he wanted 120,000 each unit. Is what was he trying to get now?
No, no, no. For all five.
Oh wow, okay. So you had to negotiate a deal and wheel them and deal them and show them how we do it in St. Louis. We ain't break them down. No.
We break them down.
So
That's what St. Louis taught me how to do was negotiate.
I know that's right. So when you got him under contract and everything, y'all agreed on everything. he was pretty receptive. So did you ever get to meet the seller, or how did that go?
I never met him. Never.
Wouldn't know this guy if you saw him today.
I wouldn't know if he walked right past me right now.
Mm.
I only know his name, only know his voice and his phone number. I never met any of the people actually that was involved. The lawyers, the two lawyers, my buyer, or my seller. But what I did was, because I'm always trying to, again, figure out how I can keep making money. I met the buyer recently, okay? And we're actually partners right now. So I developed a relationship with him because then I actually manage those same properties.
Oh, wow. You parlayed it into an empire.
Yeah, not only do I manage the properties, I'm also doing all the rehabs on these properties too. So like now I get residual from being a property manager, but now I'm also getting the money from rehabbing them because I have a construction company. So yeah, like I'm double dipping all the way in. I'm tied in.
That's right. That's what you want to do. Say, where else can I extract some of these funds? Because somebody gonna spend money to live there. Why can't I get a piece of that pie?
Yeah, for sure. That's how I think about it. So.
All right. So you get the property all locked up. How did you go about locating or finding? What kind of marketing did you do to find this cash buyer?
Well, before I even started wholesaling, I knew that finding buyers was like the key. Finding the deal obviously is the key. Can't do anything without a deal. But I knew that once I get the deal, then what? I didn't want to be stuck trying to market a deal to nobody, not having anyone to market it to. So what I did before I even got started wholesaling at all, I started to build my buyers list. And it was a real life buyers list. With networking, like I said, I went to a ton of conferences, all kinds of real estate meetups, and I would just collect people's information to the point where now I have like a solid buyers list of like 1,200 people in different cities, because I knew, I always think big and I always know that I want to start small, but I always have like this bigger goal. And so I knew that I was working towards that bigger goal, and to have a list of people that I could email it to and send it out to immediately. And so that's what I did. Once I got the deal, I started to send it out to my buyers list. I emailed dozens and dozens and dozens of people. And then somebody hit back like, I'll buy it right now. It's closing 7 days. I'm like, yeah, let's get that going.
Say, let's do it right now.
Let's do it right now. And so, yeah, that's how I started backwards. I started building my list before I even had any kind of lead.
Wow. So that's really not backwards. I mean, some people teach to do it that way. To go ahead and get your buyers list together, especially if you're in a competitive market, to go ahead and have that buyers list ready to go. So when you find a deal, just shoot it on over and get it done real quick. So it makes a big difference.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, definitely. So when you were dealing with the buyer, were they trying to beat you up on price or anything, or they just were cool with what you were asking for? How did that go?
Initially I was asking for, I think, 145,000. I wanted to make like 25,000. I was pushing it. I probably could have made it if I would have like stalled a little bit, but I didn't. Once I had a person that was ready to go, and he signed the contract with me. I was like, let's just get it sold. It's just one deal, Don't get too caught up in trying to get the most out of it. Make what I can make and move on to the next one.
I know that's right. And so you locked it up under contract for, you say, how much now?
135.
135, and you sold it to the end buyer for one.
Oh, but no, I locked it under contract for 120. I'm sorry.
120, and then he bought it for 135.
Yeah.
All right. How did the buyer go? Did he go take a look at the property? Did he send representatives? How did that go when he wanted to check out?
He never stepped foot in the properties.
Dang, everybody virtual. The buyer was virtual, the wholesaler virtual. Everybody.
It was a true virtual deal. I never even seen the properties. I'd never even been to that state. Well, not the state, but I had never even been in that city. I knew nothing about. I had family down there, but I never, physically went to that city for what. So after I sold the properties, I saw them. I rode past, like, oh, there they are. Cool.
I know that's right. Say that ain't hard. Oh, they some money machines. I love it.
Once I became the property manager, now I'm dealing with those properties and all the tenants and all of that. So yeah.
Well, that's some fun stuff there. Let's see here. Name title company. Terrell Darden wants to know about the title company. I guess you had attorneys there though. It wasn't even title.
Yeah, we didn't go through a title company. See, our deal was very, very unique. Okay, I was dealing with attorneys, and in the state of Georgia, it's a lawyer city, a lawyer state, so you don't have to close through a title company. Your lawyers can do the closing for you, and that's how we did it. Our lawyers did all the paperwork. We didn't see a title company. But one thing I'll say is for anybody out there, always run title. Do you hear me? Always, because my buyer was very smart. He's an investor. He's been doing this. He's very successful in what he does. He demanded to run his own title. And guess what we found? There's always going to be some hidden surprises. You never trust anybody in this business just based on their word. You better get it on contract. And luckily, he was smart enough to run his own title because some things popped up. There was like some big bills attached to that would have cost him if he had not done his own research. And of course, the seller's not going to tell you, oh, yeah, man, I owe $30,000 on this. You know, if he can get away with it, they will. So in this business, man, don't trust anybody's word. You better run that title and be sure of what you're getting yourself into. So you know, it may cost you.
You want to have a clean title warranty deed. We don't want no mess because I've been through title issues myself in life already in this short amount of time I've been doing it, and it'll change everything. It can kill a deal.
It can kill a deal immediately, and you know, they'll tell you all the way up until that day, oh, it's all good, I don't owe anything. Next thing you know, they got a whopping $30,000 bill.
Right.
They've got mechanic liens and all kinds of stuff attached to properties that you won't know. You won't know.
So when that stuff popped up, did the seller act surprised, like, oh, I ain't know anything about it? Or they was like,
of course he did. Of course he did. Because of course he told me it was a clean title, because that's what I told my buyers. Clean title, everything. You know, he doesn't owe anything. Man, the dude had a mortgage on it and a whopping bill. So I think out of that 120,000, he might have walked away with 40.
Oh, that ain't bad. That's retirement for him. Why was he selling anyway? What was the motivation for him to even want to sell that property?
He was older. And he was looking to downsize. The man owns a lot of properties, and it was probably a nuisance property for him because it's multiple doors. You're dealing with multiple people, okay, which can be a lot to keep up. If you got, 10 different air conditions and 4 of them are out, now you got to, that can be expensive for someone who's trying to retire and someone who's older, who's not out there trying to keep up with all of that. And then he told me that his maintenance man had passed away. So that could be a big issue if you don't have someone on the ground taking care of those properties and you've got 10 tenants. So I think that he just wanted to kind of get rid of it. It was a headache for him, I think. And at that point, he was just wanting to travel, enjoy life.
Get up out of this game. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Retirement, baby. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to do real soon, a couple years myself.
Absolutely. Me too.
And real estate is the way. Let's see here. Courtney says, what does she use for comps and leads, such as purchasing lists and marketing to those lists?
Comps and leads. I just did some basic research on the comps. The comps in that area, that deal was unique because the comps in that area were very low. Okay. Because it wasn't a lot of, first of all, these were duplexes. So it's kind of hard to comp those to individual residents or one doors. So the comps, it wasn't very comparable. And then when you broke them down as like unit A, unit B, I could take those individual values, which were different. So it was kind of unique on how I had to do the comps. And I didn't let the comps like be a big issue because I know everybody's like, run the comps. But in this case, the comps weren't gonna add up either way you flipped it.
Right.
Because of the type of, it was a multi-unit situation. So it was kind of hard to do that, honestly. And I just knew it was a good deal based on how many doors it was, the fact that you're coming into already making cash flow immediately. I didn't let the comps or any of that stuff be a hangover for me on this particular deal.
Yeah, because that'll definitely stop somebody say, oh, well, I can't figure out what it's worth, so I'm just going to give up. And, you can't be a quitter. Can't be a quitter.
Nah, yeah, and then like I knew what the value of each individual unit was, and I wasn't really tripping off of that because I was selling this thing as a package deal, and if I would have like based everything based on the comps, then you know
Yeah.
I would I probably would have got discouraged really.
All right. And I guess Terrell wants to know, I guess, did you use DocuSign or some other type of, I guess, digital signature software?
I absolutely used DocuSign. It was my first time using. Well, it wasn't. I take that back. Second time using DocuSign. We did everything virtual. They would send me the contract. I would sign it. They would do their thing. They would sign it. Everything was done completely virtual. And DocuSign was definitely Adobe Sign is what I use. Yeah.
Okay. So you had to, but you had to wire your money over, right?
I did. I wired my money through my bank. I wired it straight to the seller, and they wanted to wire the money to me, but I wanted to pick up that check.
I know
I
that's
wanted
right.
that, like, let me get that check in my hand. I don't wire me nothing. I don't want nothing to go wrong with this wire. I don't trust the banks as it is.
Uh,
So I had to pick that check up, and I went and cashed it at their bank.
cashed it out. And they say, did you make the offer sight unseen?
What was that?
Did you make the offer sight unseen? Yeah, she made the offer sight unseen. Never saw the
Yeah.
property, never saw the
No.
seller or the buyer, right?
Yeah. Nope. I did my research. Of course, I saw the properties virtually. I did do my research. I had people on the grounds there too, who did go look at just one unit. Um, but I never saw any of that stuff for myself. I was just going off of, I felt it in my gut that it was a good deal, and I usually go with that. And I prayed about it. I know some people may, if you think that's cliche, I don't know, I don't care. I prayed about it, and I knew in my spirit that it was gonna happen. So
I
I
know
was
that's
good.
right. So
Yeah.
you went on down there and picked up your check and say, "Look at me."
Hey, let
Wait
me
a minute.
get
Matter of
that
fact,
check.
is this it? Hey, who is
Oh
it?
yeah, cha-ching.
He say, "I picked that check up, put my name, get my $1,000 back, and my money on
Yeah,
top."
yeah. And of course, I used a lot of that money to reinvest, and then I looked out for the people that helped me, or just gave me the lead. I dropped them some money and dropped my family. You know how it is. You get a little money, a little hot little check. You do what you do, but
Not
most of it
everybody
was
your cousin.
reinvest.
Everybody your cousin. Cousin Chris over here. What's up, man?
No. Now when I get the million, then we might do something like that.
I
But
know
no,
that's
I
right.
basically the majority of that money has been reinvested. So
Right. Well,
um,
that's what money should be used for, to reinvest and to go get more money, not just sit in the bank rotting and losing money for saving it. Like,
yeah, no,
all right,
no.
let's see here. They say, does she have an LLC? I spoke to an attorney who will not close any deals unless I have an LLC. I'm in Atlanta as well.
Okay, so let me tell you about that. Those Atlanta lawyers get on my nerve.
Mm,
They play a hard game. That's not a law. You don't have to do that. But that's what they're requiring of you. So you got to just weigh your options. Is this deal worth going through this? Because my lawyer on the seller side, she was a hot mess. Okay. She tried to send me through the ringer. She didn't even know, and being a lawyer, she didn't even know half the stuff that I know. I was teaching her so much stuff. I'm like, lady, you went to law school for this, right? And
mm,
she didn't know half the stuff that I was doing. And she tried to make all these crazy demands on me. And I would just hit her with factual laws, ma'am. I would hit her with facts. Sit down, have a seat, ma'am. This is not a law. Now, you want to hold this deal up because you got all these expectations and requirements, then, and I would just go to the actual seller, like, your lawyer is holding this deal up, bro. Like, because she's requesting things that's not even necessary for me to present. Now,
mm.
if you would like for me to get my lawyer involved, then we can do that too. You have to really know your rights and your laws when it comes to this, especially dealing with those Atlanta lawyers, because it is a lawyer state and they feel like they can just demand. Now, if it's a deal that's really worth it to you, it costs $150 to start an LLC.
Yeah. How
Okay.
hard could that
And
be?
if it's that big of a deal for you, I mean, it's always good to have an LLC somewhere in the paint anyway, just to
Mhm.
have a business and having a business account. And so there's benefits to having an LLC, bro, but you don't have to have any of that. So for someone to tell you that, that's just that's a personal requirement that they're trying to place upon you. That is not a law. That is not, you know, a requirement to do wholesaling. That is that lady's request of you. So you got to determine, do I want to move forward with this deal? Is it worth that? Or if I want to just go ahead and just, hey, the deal is hot. I know I'm going to make my money. Let me just go and start this LLC. So that's totally up to you, bro.
Wow. Yeah. And like you said, you can get an LLC anywhere. It could be a foreign entity. You can get one here in
Yeah.
Missouri for cheaper or somewhere else or whatever, you know. And
Yeah.
an LLC is one way. And another way is just get another attorney. I spoke to an attorney, just one. Find another one that'll do the deal. Somebody in that city or
Yeah.
area will do it.
Fight them with their own power and go get another lawyer. And then they'll start backing down a little bit because they'll know what they're trying to request of you, bro, is not law. So don't come making all these requests on me and it ain't even in the law. This is just some individual standard stuff going on. I don't know.
Right,
So
right.
yeah.
And they even asked, and how did you find an attorney and what
I
attorney
did
did
not.
you use?
I did not find an attorney. I did not use an attorney. I used myself. Okay. I didn't have a lawyer representing me. I represented myself. Um, both my seller and buyer had attorneys. I didn't want to go get a third attorney, and now we got three attorneys, and it just makes no sense. So I did not use a lawyer for anything. I have not. I have mentors and I have friends like Chris who I reach out to when I have like when I come upon a stumbling block and I don't know how to get past it. I seek someone who may have more knowledge in that area. Or I just do my research. Do research, research, research. You guys don't necessarily need lawyers. All the information that they're going to give you is common, like it's common knowledge. Like you can, I mean, not common knowledge, but it's out there. It can be
Right.
researched. You can do yourself. You can represent yourself as an attorney would. You can go pay somebody all those fees if you want to make you feel more safe because you haven't done your own research and know what you're doing. Me, I'm not gonna go give you half of some money and I'll have to. All I gotta do is just research the knowledge. And
Mm,
now I know everything
that's
that you
right.
know, and I don't need you because I mean my contract speaks for itself. If your contract is solid, you don't need no lawyer. Um, Me personally, this is not the first type of business I've done, so I'm already familiar with how to formulate contracts, the wording, the jargon, like. And that's not because I went to school. I just taught myself. I researched it because if it's something you want to do, you need to learn it. Don't go out here depending on so many other people. It's not necessary. So no, I didn't have a lawyer, and I don't probably never will use a lawyer for what. That's just
Mm,
my. That's just unless I want to use a lawyer to close instead of a title company, but I'd rather use a title company. That's
right.
what they
Yeah.
do. 4/7. Most of these lawyers, I found out, they don't even know what half this jargon is, unless they're like a specific real estate lawyer, and even then, they still may not know. So do your own research. Know what you need to know.
Yeah, because they be trying to get you too. I mean, I can understand that. And like you said, it's common knowledge. There are no secrets
Yeah.
anymore. Everything you want to know is on this internet. Everything. How to fly a plane, how to do real estate, how to water your plants properly.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to know is on this
But
internet.
stop depending on people for your education and educate yourself. Don't depend on nobody to educate you.
Mm,
Educate yourself so that you know what it is that you're walking into. And I know a lot of our people fail because they don't even know everything about what they're doing or what type of businesses that they step in. Do your research. Like I wanted to make sure I did my research about real estate because I'm not gonna step out here blindly and I've already learned some mistakes. You're gonna learn always. There's always a learning curve. You're gonna learn all the time. There's something to learn. But do do your research, man. You don't need no lawyer and paying somebody all this extra money. And you don't have to. So
yeah, for some of these deals, yeah, I mean, it's a lot of times where it's just wasting money sometimes. And then there's sometimes you would need them, weigh out the options and be smart. I try to protect myself in every deal, no matter what, have multiple layers. So if something even go
yeah,
wrong, oops, I don't know nothing.
yeah,
So yeah, that makes
yeah.
sense. And so what do you plan on doing going forward? I heard you say something about a construction company, property management. What else you trying to do as far as real estate is
So
concerned?
so yeah, I just recently started my rehab and construction company. Because I like that process of building, rehabbing, um, and I plan on taking that further. I also plan to get more into my real estate full time, do some more wholesaling, but also I want to get into investing and buying my own properties here soon. I look forward to doing multifamily units myself and just really becoming more of an investor versus a wholesaler, and holding, because I believe that's where the power is ownership, people. You know what I mean? Don't get caught up and stuck in the wholesaling lane either, because ownership is key. It's like Monopoly. You pass this go, you got to always pay me money.
That's
I don't
right.
want to just at one time, because always the lump sum ain't necessarily bigger than the long term. You know, you building longevity for yourself and for your family. You know, I want to be able to pass my children, protect my future children down some stuff. And if I just stick with wholesaling, then I have nothing to pass down. So
Exactly. You got to have some ownership. That makes sense. And I mean, you're right, because today is the 28th. All of my rents are due on the 28th, late on the 1st. We got multiple payments came in today on the 28th, waiting on a couple of y'all more to pay. Come on, y'all. So
yeah.
So that's what we want there. Let's see here. We got a couple of other questions here. Let's see here. I want to close my first deal before I pay an attorney $600 for an LLC to handle my deal for me. I know for a fact that I don't need an LLC to close my first deal. That's right. Washington. That's Washington. Let's see here. Yep. Attorneys. What is this here? Yep. Attorneys, realtors at closing will blow up your deal. Would you agree with that, Sunny?
I agree. They will hold that joint up if they can. Get them out of there. Do it yourself. Have confidence. That's another key. Confidence is key in this business. When you speaking to the seller, when you're speaking to the buyer, when you're speaking to those attorneys, you got to be sure what you're saying. You got to be confident in what you're saying. So that takes also knowledge and just, believing that you can do it. You don't need a whole bunch of people to walk you through, hold your hand. Just got to do it.
Yeah, I agree with that, because people can smell or feel the fear. If you go in there like, oh, I think I want to buy your house. No, they feel that. They like, I don't want to mess with you. You don't sound like what you're doing. I was talking with the seller the other day, and they came back and said, yeah, I talked to this other guy. I was going to sell him the house, but I think I'm going to go with you because you seem polished. I said, polished? Oh, wow. Great. So that's what you want to do. Make them feel like you know what you're talking about. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. You never want to sound like a rookie, even if you don't know what the heck you're talking about. You better act like you know what you're talking about. And that's what I do. You better fake it till you make it. And it's just about being confident when you speak with a person, just being sure of what you're saying. They will try to they'll pick your brain to see if you know stuff. Because I ain't gonna lie, like there was a few things that my buyer mentioned, and I was like, I don't know what he's talking about. But I'm about to get off this phone and go research it. So the next time we have this conversation, I've been to know, I'll know what you're talking about for sure. Because I'm not going to, just. But at the same time, I'm not going to show him that I do not know what the heck you just said. But I will find in about 10 minutes. So that's me.
Right. And that's where it comes back to the training and taking the time to get the knowledge, because it's the same common objections all the time. Where'd you get my number? What make you think I want to sell? Whatever. They always got the same old stuff that once you learn the basics, it's the same stuff over and over and over again.
Yep.
Yeah, so that'll work. Let's see here. They say I'm late. Oh, Daniel's late. Welcome, Daniel. So if there's any other questions anybody else got in here, put in the comments before we wrap it up. Sunny, how do people connect with you if they want to connect with you on social media or something else outside of just this stream here?
So everybody, my name is Sunni Minx. That's SUNNIMINX on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram. I don't really do Twitter, but I'm on there. My Gmail is sminxxp@gmail.com. My real estate company is House of Values. You can look me up, House of Values LLC@gmail.com. Just reach out to me, Sunni Minx.
I know that's right. Was there anything else you want to say before I let you go?
Don't be afraid to try it. Don't be afraid. Just go. Stop planning. Don't do what I did. I sat around for a year and a half just researching, which is not anything wrong, but I wish I would have got started sooner than later. So yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that, because time is our most valuable asset.
Period. Facts.
Exactly. Let's see here.
Thanks for having me, though, Chris. Thanks for having me. I got to get out of here. I'm an entrepreneur, so I always got something to do.
All right, that's cool. All right, Sunny, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
All right. That's how we do it, family. If you just recently closed your first wholesale deal or your first creative deal, hit me up. We'll put you on the show here and we can talk about your deal so we can actually try to figure out a way to help somebody else that may be going through some of the same struggles as you, because it's the same stuff. You're just going through it at a different time in life or a different time on the spectrum of things. So let's see what else we got. Any other questions here? Is she going to do sub 2 or lease option? Possibly. Let's see here. Anyone have any suggestions on investor-friendly title companies in Atlanta? I did my Google question with no luck. So what I would tell you to do is go out to some real estate meetings, some RIA meetings, and actually connect with some people actually doing business in your town. That's for anybody. Don't just rely on the internet for that stuff. You can got to get out on the ground and touch some people. Go in and shake some hands and kiss some babies if that's what it takes. Go out and get some people and, find out, hey, who do you use? I say you buy a lot of houses. Who do you use for your title company or your attorney? Who do you recommend? Ask people. Go into some actual Facebook groups within your town as well, because there's these different investor groups. You can do it online as well and just go in there and ask, who do you recommend is the best title company or attorney in the area? So that's one of the best ways I would go about doing that. Let's see here. I'm in Georgia. All real estate closings are done with attorneys only. Yeah, that's right. But yeah, they were trying to make it say that you have to have an LLC, but I know that's not right. So like she just said there. Sounds like me wasting time. Daniel, you need to stop wasting that time, man. Come on out here and get these deals. And for those who haven't joined yet, like I said, come on and check out the Woke Real Estate Investors Group. I know some of you people are already in it that are watching it live in the Woke Real Estate Investors Group, because we're streaming live on YouTube and the Woke group as well simultaneously. So go ahead and join the Woke Real Estate Investors Group right here. Woke Real Estate Investors on Facebook. It's a free Facebook group talking about subject to wraparound mortgages, lease options, land trust, all the crazy funky stuff, as well as virtual wholesaling and traditional wholesaling, where you just go lock them up on paperwork, put some pen to paper. Also, if you need contracts, cool gear, or coaching, wokerealestate.com is the website to get all that stuff, the paperwork you need to do any type of deal, whether it's a seller financing deal, a wraparound mortgage deal, any type of deal, wholesale deal, whatever. It's all right there, wokerealestate.com. And if you're looking for a good coach that can hold your hand just a little bit, but I'm going to hold you accountable, show you what you need to do to get to the next level. If you did a deal or two and you're trying to put some systems in place to scale up your business, things like that, that's where I kind of help out at, is where I take people in and help and coach them, on a weekly coaching call, and help you through your deals as you're going through, because sometimes you need that little bit of help. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like Sunny said earlier, sometimes you got to pay your way. I paid my way. I paid plenty of money. I paid in time. I paid in money. I traveled to go meet people, big greats that teach this stuff. Sometimes you got to spend that money, man. You can learn a lot on here for free. Don't get me wrong. Learn all the free stuff you can. They get you a base level. But sometimes you got to go a little deeper into the process so you can actually know what's going on. So let's see if we got any other questions here. Chris Monroe, this time for your coaching. That's right. WokeRealEstate.com is where you go for that. I think that's going to wrap us up for the evening. Like I said, if this video helped you out in any type of a way, give it a thumbs up. You can share it out as well. If you're on YouTube, you can't share out of the Woke Real Estate Investors Group, but you can share on YouTube and give it a thumbs up. The replay viewers and all that, put a smart comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And also, like I said, if you just recently closed your deal, hit me up. We'll try to get you on here as well. Next Monday night, we're going to be on with Mr. Transaction Engineer Eddie. We're going to be talking about how to actually negotiate and remove liens off properties. That's going to be an advanced training next Monday night about this same time, 7 o'clock Central Time, right here on the same channel. So make sure you subscribe, and stay alive. And we're going to catch you back next week. Other than that, I'm about to get up out of here and do some more woke stuff. So do what you do. Be who you be. And I'll see you before you see me. Peace out, family.
And we have and we have and we have Mr. I stay whoa, and Mr. I stay
Peace in the Middle East.